Hello. Hello, guys. Hello, Daniela. Hello, Christopher. Hello, William. Hello, everyone. Sorry for the delay. I had a connection problem, so it took a long time for my computer to connect. So sorry about that. Sorry about that. How are you doing today? How are you today? Hello, everybody. Hello. Does anybody hear me?
Hi, teacher.
Hello,
Hi,
everybody.
teacher.
Hello. Hello, girls. Hello, boys. Sorry, as I said, sorry for the delay. For some reason, the connection was difficult today. So it took a while for it until it finally got connected. But anyway, here we are now. So everything's good at the moment. Just chat window for a second. Hello, Maddie. Hello, everybody. All right, guys. Let's then continue now. So let's get right into it. All right, let's remember a little bit of the vocabulary that we were checking in the previous class, okay? So, you can tell me, how do you say in English, how do you say in English, for example, epidemia, how do you say that in English? Do you remember? Come on, guys. How do you say in English, epidemia? Don't remember? So understanding it was easy, but maybe remembering.
Can you repeat, please, teacher? I can hear.
Yes. How do you say in English, epidemia? How do you say that? Does anybody remember? No? So this would be an epidemic. All right? Now, let's see another word.
Teacher.
Yes. Sorry, can you repeat that? I couldn't hear you. Sorry, guys, I couldn't hear you. Would you repeat that? Well, anyway, let's continue. How do you say in English? Let's see. How do you say in English? No, let's not put it here. Let's continue here. Descubrimiento. How do you say that? Descubrimiento. How do you say that in English? Can you hear me? So, how do you say this in English, guys? Descubrimiento. Can you hear me, guys? Can you listen to me? Right, hello again. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. It got disconnected. I had a connection problem here. Okay, guys. So, as we were saying, all right. So, you told me that epidemia is epidemic, right? That's how you say it. Now, how do you say descubrimiento? How do you say this in English? How do you say that in English? Descubrimiento. Yeah, that's right. Discovery.
Discovery.
Very good. Very good. Yes, very good. So, sorry there. Discovery. Sorry, the connection is pretty bad today for some reason. Okay, good. Now, how do you say elección? Especially when you're speaking about politics. How do you say in English elección? How do you say that in English? Any idea? Come on, guys. How do you say elección in English? How do you say elección?
Election.
That's right. It would be an election. Very good. How do you say revolución? That's pretty easy, right? But how do you say revolución? Revolution. And how do you spell revolution? Can you spell it for me? Can you spell revolution?
R E V O L U C I O N.
Almost correct. Almost. There's only one little thing that should be changed. We only need to make one little change here. What is the change we need to make? We need to make
revolution.
Yeah, that's right. We need to change the C for a T. Okay, we need to change the C for a T. That's right. And actually, this is something that not just for this piece of vocabulary, but for most words in English, this works. You know that when a word in Spanish ends in ción, in English, it tends to end in shon. That is the pronunciation, right? Cuando una palabra en español termina en sion, en inglés tiende a terminar en shon, ¿no es cierto? For example, how do you say televisión?
Ajá, no se le escucha nada.
¿No suena nada? Entonces les voy a escribir todo, ¿sí? Okay, then I'm gonna write it. So please pay attention to the board. Pongamos atención a la pizarra. Okay, so if a word in English ends in, if a word in Spanish ends in ción, now this the sound of this could be ción or ción with an S, right? If a word in Spanish ends in ción or ción, in English it ends en inglés va a sonar como Sean. En inglés va a sonar como Sean, ¿no? En inglés va a sonar Sean, pero en español es el sion o el sion, right? Ahora, esta es la cosa. En inglés va a terminar en, si es que en español termina en sion, en inglés igual va a terminar en sion, solo que lo vamos a pronunciar Sean, Sean. In English we pronounce it Sean, ¿ok? Ahora, si es que la palabra en español termina en sion con C, in English it's going to end in ion. So this is a little trick that we can use, right? This is a little trick that we can use. This is a little trick we can use in almost every case. Right? So, again, if you have words like, for example, television. How do you say television in English? I'm sorry, how do you say televisión in English? I already said it. So if you say televisión in English, that's going to be the same. Television, right? Si en español termina en, digamos, es el sion, la parte de sion en español es con S, pues en inglés también va a ser con S, ¿sí? For example, let's write another example. División. How do you say división in English? How do you say división in English? Yeah, that's right. Division. And you keep the S, all right? We keep the S. That's what we do. We keep, conservamos, ¿no? We keep the S, all right? Now, if a word in Spanish ends in ción with a C, right? If a word in Spanish ends in ción, then we change the C for a T, okay? Right? For example, how do you say in English? Let me just go back, sorry. Protección, all right? How do you say protección in English?
Protection.
That's right. So we're gonna change the C for a T. Okay, we're gonna change the C for a T. I'm going very slow because you told me that the audio is not working well. Estoy yendo lento porque me dijeron que el audio no está yendo bien, ¿no? Que no está sonando bien. All right? Now, so remember, if you have a C, yeah, okay, better then. So remember, if you have a C here, si es que tienen una C en inglés, en español, pues en inglés normalmente esa C va a cambiar por T, ¿no es cierto? Let's write another example. Hagamos otro ejemplo. If you have the word, for example, asociación. How do you say asociación in English? That's right. Association, right? Association, right? Sorry, this would be a double S and a double S here as well. Association, right? So that's the way that it's going to work. You're going to be changing the C for a T. But in this case, it should be the second one, of course, right? Oh, sorry, I made a mistake here. This would be like this, okay? Of course, esta C no nos importa tanto, pero la C del ción, noten que la C de ción, all right, cambió por T. The C in ción changes for a T. So that is a little trick. That is a little trick. Whenever in Spanish you have one of these words with ción, but with an S, you keep the S in English. For example, televisión con S, television with an S in English. División con S en español in English. Division with an S, right? Protección. aquí ción, bueno, claro, tengo doble C, pero la segunda C es la que me interesa, ¿no? Protección, la C cambia por T, protection, right? Aquí también asociación, esta C de sion va a cambiar por la T nuevamente, Sean. So whenever you have that, it's a little trick to remember this. Like for example, in revolución, que tiene C, pues va a ser en inglés revolution with a T. Ahora noten la pronunciación de S-I-O-N en inglés o de T-I-O-N, ambas van a ser Sean, okay? The pronunciation in both cases is Sean. All right, very good. Now, let's use a little bit of this. Yeah, sorry, we had, por supuesto hay excepciones a esto, ¿no? Pues canción en inglés no se dice canción o algo así, pero con mucha frecuencia nos sirve ese truquito. All right, very good. Now, so you said, I'm sorry, I erased this. Revolution was, I'm sorry, revolución, revolution, right? Ya dijimos una más también por ahí, elección, that's right. Misma cosa, same thing, right? Elección, election. So if you see this, the C changes for a T again, right? No importa que en español doble C, en inglés va a ser con T. Inclusive hay algunos casos como conexión, que en español se escribe con X, en inglés también tendría que ser con CT en ese caso. All right, very good. Now, how do you say in English? Desastre. How do you say desastre? How do you say that in English?
Disaster.
That's right, very good. So this would be disaster. And how do you say desastre natural? How do you say that in English?
Natural disaster.
Natural disaster.
That's right, natural disaster. Very good. Natural disaster. Very good. What else did we have yesterday? How do you say acto terrorista? How do you say that in English? How do you say that? Don't remember? This would be a terrorist, terrorista. Y acto, very simple, act, okay? A terrorist act. So if you read it, it's very easy to know, right? But if you have to say it, you need to study a little bit more, okay? Now, how do you say asesinato? How do you say that in English?
Assassination.
Very good. And do you remember how to spell it? Very good, but can you spell assassination?
A-S-S-A-S-S.
Uh-huh.
I-N-A-T-I-O-N.
Very good. You would be very good at a spelling bee. I'm sorry. Yeah, have you heard of spelling bees? They are these little contests, well, not so little, that they usually hold in schools, and they also do it at a national level in the United States, right? So you would be good at spelling bees. Son las competencias de deletreo que les encantan en Estados Unidos, porque sí, en inglés sobre todo el deletreo es importante porque no siempre las cosas suenan, mejor dicho, se escriben tan relacionados al sonido, pues, ¿no es cierto? O, mejor dicho, tenemos tanta diversidad de sonido que no siempre es fácil saber cuál es la ortografía. All right, very good, thank you. So, assassination. And how do you say logro in English? How do you say logro?
Achievement.
Yeah, that's right, achievement. And how do you spell achievement?
A-C-H-E-B.
This would be sorry, yeah, V, E,
E-M-E.
And finally, NT, right? So thank you very much. Yeah, very, very good. This is an achievement. So don't forget this. And don't forget that you don't only need to understand them if you see them, no solo necesitan entender estas palabras si las ven, but you also need to be able to produce them. También deben ser capaces de decirlas en sus frases, en lo que ustedes necesiten decir, pero también además de escribirlas, ¿no? Con la ortografía correcta. You need to produce these words, you need to be able to say these words, and also to write these words when you need them. So that is the reason why we need to study them a little bit, especially if you didn't know them beforehand. Okay, very good. Now, I want you to take a look at some videos that I want to show you, all right? So let's see a couple of videos. All right, let me just check something. Let me see where this is, because I have a bunch of windows open. All right, so I'm just gonna turn off our audios for a moment, okay? So that that everybody can hear even better. But please, let's pay attention to the videos, okay?
March 30th, 1981. John Hinckley was a 25-year-old with romantic delusions, convinced that actress Jodie Foster would be impressed if he killed the president. Outside the Hilton Hotel in Washington, D.C., Hinckley caught up with his target.
And I don't think there was a better demonstration of how that training worked than the assassination attempt against President Reagan. Judge Jerry Parr and Ray Shattuck, as soon as that first shot goes off, they grab the president and they throw him into the car.
Agent Tim McCarthy shielded Reagan with his body, taking a bullet in the process. Within moments, the limo sped away from a scene of chaos. Hinckley was buried under a mountain of Secret Service agents. Agent McCarthy, Press Secretary James Brady,
Sorry guys, it got disconnected again. We're having lots of connection problems today. But anyway, let's try and make the best out of it. So let's rewatch the video from a certain point, okay?
mountain of Secret Service agents. Agent McCarthy, Press Secretary James Brady, and D.C. policeman Thomas Delahanty lay on the sidewalk, severely injured. All three survived, but Brady had permanent brain damage.
The old saying that, you know, a Secret Service agent will take a bullet for the president. If you look at the Reagan assassination, Tim McCarthy did do that, but he was trained to do that as well.
So yeah, as you can see, this is about an attempt to assassinate, to kill President Reagan, President Ronald Reagan, who was the president of the United States during the 80s, during a certain time in the 80s. I think it was from 1982 until 1986, but I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure. I would have to double check on that. But anyway, yeah, this is about what happened during that time. Okay, so the Reagan assassination attempt, intento, no? Attempt. All right, so, and as this person says, the Secret Service will take a bullet for you. Now, do you know what is the meaning of bullet? it means bala, right? Bullet, bala. Okay, let's continue watching.
And his heroic actions
Go back a little.
saying that, you know, Secret Service agent will take a bullet for the president. If you look at the Reagan assassination, Tim McCarthy did do that, but he was trained to do that as well. And his heroic actions demonstrate that.
Although the agents around the president reacted heroically, many mistakes had been made. The Secret Service relies on a perimeter system of protection. The outer is a preliminary check by local police. The middle has Secret Service agents searching for weapons.
And then there's the inner perimeter, and that's the final defense. It's the agents around the president.
Hinckley had penetrated 2 of the perimeters and fired at least 5 shots at point-blank range. The Secret Service had been trying for years to get metal detectors to screen for weapons. They got authorization days later. The perimeters were tightened, and the idea of an open arrival and departure ended after the attempt against President Reagan.
All right, so this video was about an assassination attempt, because probably you know about the assassination of JFK, right? Probably you know about John F. Kennedy, JFK, and the fact that he was assassinated, he was killed. So he did suffer assassination, yes.
Teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Teacher, I have a question. What is the difference about assassination?
Sorry, Mateo, I couldn't hear the last part. What is the difference between assassination and what?
Murder.
And murder. Good question, good question. Well, they are synonyms, actually. They are synonyms. In many cases, you could consider that assassination sometimes is used for something more planned out, but sometimes we also use the term assassination in a more formal way. However, good question. They are pretty much the same. They are synonyms. But good question. All right. Now, as I was saying, probably you know about the assassination of JFK, but I couldn't find a video that wasn't very long about that. Okay, so that's why I showed you this video about Reagan's assassination attempt. But Mateo's question was very good. What is the difference between murder and, all right, let me type the whole thing. What Mateo said. What's the difference between murder and assassination? And yeah, it's a very good question. As I said, they're synonyms. Synonyms. They're synonyms. So pretty much the same thing. So they're the same. However, there are subtle differences. There are subtle differences. Diferencias sutiles, ¿no? Between the two. So as I said, assassination often refers to something that was more planned out, algo más planificado, right? Maybe because of political reasons or other specific interests, right? So yeah, that would be a little bit of a difference between assassination. Sorry. That would be a little bit of a difference between assassination Sorry, there we go. That would be a little bit of a difference between assassination and murder. Okay. Also, the word assassination is a bit more formal than murder. Okay. But very, very good question, Mateo. Right, now let's see another video. So this was about an assassination, right? This was about an assassination. But let's now see a video about achievements, okay? Let's see a video about achievements. So once again, what is the meaning of achievements? One more time, tell me, what is an achievement?
Logro.
Yep, that's right, un logro. That's right, very good. So let's take a look at this video. I'm going to, for a moment, I'm going to quiet you down again, and I'm also going to quiet myself so that everybody can listen to this a little bit better, okay?
Hi, I'm Amy Bateman from Career Cake TV. Now, I've been speaking to the fabulous guys over at Firebrand Talent Search, and we wanted to create a video that would really add value to job seekers who are going for interviews. So we're going to talk about my favourite interview question, which is, tell me about your biggest achievement. Okay, so some career coaches and recruiters might advise you to pick something from your professional life. However, unless the interviewer tells you to do that, I think it's absolutely fine to pick an achievement from your personal life. Some of the best answers I've ever had have been personal achievements. Now, the reason is that it's really important that you...
Now, just a quick parenthesis. What accent does she have? What kind of English is she speaking? Is she speaking American English or British English?
British
English.
That's right, it's British English. However, although if I ask you the question, you're probably gonna guess that it's gonna be British. But yeah, that's right. So notice particularly how she says the word however. ¿No? Dice bastante con frecuencia la palabra sin embargo, however, pero noten cómo la pronuncia, ¿no es cierto? O díganlo ustedes antes de continuar. You say it before we continue. How does a British person pronounce however? How does a British person say however? Yeah, something like that, right? However, right. Okay, good. Let's continue.
Okay, so some career coaches and recruiters might advise you to pick something from your professional life. However, unless the interviewer tells you to do that, I think it's absolutely fine to pick an achievement from your personal life. Some of the best answers I've ever had have been personal achievements. Now, the reason is that it's really important that you pick something that's genuine to you, something that you're really, really proud of. Because when you start telling a story like that, you'll start reliving all of the emotion that you felt during that time. You'll probably get a big smile on your face, you'll probably sit up in your chair, your energy levels will rise, and you'll become more engaging with the interviewer. The way that you make that interviewer feel through body language is also just as important as what you're saying. People remember the way you make them feel sometimes more than what you actually say to them. So as long as you're really genuine and passionate about what you're talking about, that should be great, a great answer. However, keep the benefit in mind. So we're having this interview and we're probably getting on great, but I'm always thinking about what's the benefit to me? What's the benefit to the job that you're applying for? So if you are going to pick something from your professional life, so maybe you talk about your leadership skills, you were manager of the year, that's brilliant. and I suppose I get that benefit. But if you tell me about something from your personal life, the benefit might not be as obvious. So make sure that if you tell me, maybe you run a marathon, tell me the benefit to me. So that's when you would come in and say, well, everything I put my mind to, I achieve. I'm really self-motivated. I don't like failing. And that's the benefit then to me. So just keep that in mind. I would also say keep it quite recent. I remember asking a lady that was probably about 35 after this question, and she told me her greatest achievement was moving away to university, moving away from home. And yes, that was an achievement for me as well. But I was thinking it was probably about 15 years ago, and I'm looking for something more recent. Also, this is going to sound quite harsh, and I don't mean to sound harsh, but be careful not to become a victim during this answer. I know that sometimes people can focus on the negative nitty-gritty of the situation they overcame rather than the positive of the actual achievement. So just be really aware of that, and don't make it too personal. I know that sometimes people can talk about maybe an achievement is getting through a really messy divorce and standing on your own 2 feet, or getting over an illness. All really, really great achievements, I get that. But just remember that certain people are more judgmental than others, and you just have to keep it really, really professional and positive, really upbeat, okay? And my favourite ever answer to this was a chap that told me his achievement. Then he sold the benefit back to the job he was applying for, but then he told me that he felt his greatest achievement was yet to come. He hoped it would be yet to come. And I loved that, absolutely loved it, because that told me that he's one of those guys that just wants to always go out and better himself, always wants to achieve more tomorrow than he did today. And that's a great mentality to have when somebody's recruiting into their team. So hopefully that's added some value. If you want to have a look at for more of my videos and get some advice, this is my website. Or if you want to go and catch up with the guys over at Firebrand Talent Search, this is their website. Thank you very much for watching. Good luck with those interviews and take care.
All right, very good. Very good. So,
Teacher,
yes.
I have a bad connection of internet. Your bill sometimes.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that part. I only heard that you had a bad internet connection, but I couldn't hear the rest.
I'm having a bad connection, sorry.
Yeah, I understand. I understand. Yeah, unfortunately today, me too. Por desgracia, yo también el día de hoy, y eso creo que está perjudicando un poco todo el proceso. I'm sorry about that. Hopefully, however, in many classes, I think the connection hasn't been bad, but today, unfortunately, we're having problems with that. Probably, well, I called the people at the internet provider that I have, and I'm probably going to be getting a better connection in following days. Let's hope that happens. And but I understand if you're having problems. However, do remember that I'm uploading every class to the playlist that we have on YouTube. No olviden que estoy subiendo todas las clases igual al playlist que tenemos en YouTube. Entonces, si la conexión no estuvo buena o si por cualquier motivo no pudieron estar o no se pudieron conectar, siempre sería bueno que entren a eso. Porque incluso, si la conexión en sus casas estuvo mala, pues, y no me podían oír bien, si oí entrecortado, en los videos que se suben a YouTube, pues ahí sí se me escucha mejor, ¿sí? Entonces, por ese lado también es bueno que lo hagan. All right, but thank you for letting me know. Yeah, that is important to know. Thank you. Now, let's go back to the book for a moment, okay? Let's go back to our book, and let's see what else do we have in there. Well, but maybe before we continue with that, as you saw in the last video, the lady was talking about achievements, but that was some personal advice for you to go and get a job, right? That was advice for a job interview, but it is interesting that she mentioned that probably in a job interview, they're going to be asking you, they're going to ask you what have been your achievements. So that is good to know, right? That is good to know. Okay, now let's go into our book. And let's go into this page that we have here. Let's go on page 67. And let's take a quick look at this. Now, before we continue, you know that we use will for the future, right? You know that we use will for the future. Like, for example, well, there are different types of futures also, right? But this is what I was, when we were doing the review, when we were doing the review that we had during the first classes, I told you that basically we have three forms of tenses, of times, right? We only have the past, the present, and the future. But this past, present, and future could be simple. These are the modes. So these are the tenses, or times, right? We can have the past, the present, and the future. But these could be simple. The modes could be simple, continuous, or progressive, which is the same, or perfect, right? So far you have already studied. You have already studied present simple, present continuous, present perfect, past simple, past continuous, and also past perfect, right? Also past perfect. What you haven't studied yet, and oh, of course, you have also studied I'm forgetting, you have also studied the future simple. For example, I will help you, right? For example, well, let's put it better like this. For example, I will help you. Okay? So this is what you have already studied. You have already studied all of this. Estas cosas ya han estudiado. What you haven't studied yet, lo que todavía no han estudiado, what you haven't studied yet is, or are, the future continuous and the future perfect. Estos son dos tiempos que ustedes no los han estudiado todavía. O bueno, posiblemente sí los han estudiado en su vida, posiblemente en el colegio, pero yendo a los contenidos que hemos tenido de los cursos de la UDA, pues todavía no han sido vistos estos dos tiempos, ¿no es cierto? Right? Now, remember this, as I've always told you, como siempre les he dicho, la gramática me interesa en el sistema, mejor dicho, al nivel de que puedan usarla ya cuando hablamos y cuando escribimos. Solo estudiar gramática no les va a hacer escribir y hablar, ¿no? Tenemos que practicarla mucho, pero es bueno tener una idea de para qué sirven las cosas, ¿no es cierto? Y con qué verbos van y todo aquello. Por eso hicimos ese repaso al comienzo del ciclo. Now, let's go into this for a moment, okay? If you have, for example, future simple, future simple. Can anybody give me an example of a sentence in future simple? Can anybody give me an example of a sentence in future simple? Come on, guys. Oh, sorry. Let me see. Yeah, your microphones are on. So, can you give me an example of a sentence in future simple? Hello, guys. I'm back. Hello. Sorry for the connection problems. It went away again, but I'm back. Okay, so let's continue. Let's continue with the explanation that I was giving you. Okay. And with the question that I was asking. So, Can you give me an example of a sentence in future simple? No? Well, probably it's the connection, but let me give you an example. So, I'll go back home in 2 days. All right? How do you say this in Spanish? I'll go back home in 2 days. How do you say this in Spanish? Well, this would be regresaré a casa en 2 días. All right? Yes, go ir, go back, it's a phrasal verb, right? So go back, regresar. It makes sense because back, atrás, pues iré atrás, iré de vuelta, ¿no? I'll go back home in 2 days. And don't forget that we use the contraction apostrophe double L for will, right? For will. Okay, so I'll go back home in 2 days. Another example of this could be, I will help you when you need it. Or the contraction, I'll help you when you need it. What is the meaning of I'll help you when you need it? Sorry guys, I'm back again. Sorry, I'm back again. Again, some connection problems, okay? So let's just finish up quickly. Let's wrap it up. Again. So again, this would be the contraction for I will, right? This is the contraction for I will. So I will help you when you need it. I'll help you when you need it. We understand this, right? And this is the future simple. So we only have 2 keywords in future simple, right? One keyword in future simple is will, right? This is key. And the other keyword when we use future simple is a verb. Now, what is the form of the verb that we are using? ¿Cuál es la forma del verbo que estamos usando luego de will? What is the form of the verb that we are using? Well, it is the base form of the verb. It is the base form, okay? So keep that in mind. Don't forget that. When we use the future simple, we're going to be using the base form of the verbs, okay? And actually, as you probably know, there is not really a translation for the word will, right? It's like what we were saying when we were speaking about would, como lo que decíamos de would. ¿Se acuerdan? Should, debería, could, podría, pero would era la terminación ría, ¿no es cierto? Entonces, asimismo, a will por sí solo no le puedo traducir si es que quisiera hacerlo. Will se combina con el verbo. I will help you, help ayudar, te ayudaré. I'll go back, regresaré. Entonces, esto me indica, en español, este sería el futuro, ¿no es cierto? Ayudaré, iré, venceré, comeré, escribiré, escribiremos también, bueno, depende de quién, de cuál sea el sujeto, ¿no es cierto? It also depends on the subject. But remember that in English, you're going to be using the base form of the verbs when you use the future simple, okay? And since the connection is pretty bad today, ya que la conexión está bastante mal hoy, pues...
Profe,
sí, claro.
profe,
Ajá. Yes. Yeah.
profe,
Sorry, the connection broke down.
profe, disculpa que le interrumpa, pero se está costando
nada,
muchísimo.
Sí,
Pero
no
se
se
está
entiende
costando
nada, hasta se corta el
demasiado.
video.
Entiendo, entiendo. Vean por favor el video en YouTube, ahí no se va a cortar, ¿sí?
Profe, disculpe, no lo escuchamos.
Yes. Ajá. Leamos esto, por favor. Let's read this, okay?
Okay.
No, yeah, stop. Yeah. Okay. No me digo.
So please, let's rewatch this on the YouTube video.
Teacher?
Yes. So please,
Hello.
since it's getting cut, let's rewatch this video, this class, I'm sorry. Let's rewatch this class on the YouTube video, which I'll upload today, okay? So because the audio should be better there.
Okay, teacher.
And no homework for tomorrow. All right.
All right, teacher.
All right. Thank you. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, teacher. Thank you.
Goodbye.
Teacher, bye.
Uh-huh.
Thank you, teacher.
You're welcome. Thanks for your attention. Sorry for the bad
Bye.
connection.
Teacher.
You're welcome.